All right, so the most important definition that you need to know in this video is the form, which is the chord progression that you sing over. It's the thing that repeats over and over for the whole song. So like Wagon Wheel has the same, chord progression over and over and over. That's the form. It's 8 measures worth of music. Yours is what it is. So you got to be able to play the chords really well. That's it. You got to know it, be able to do it with consistency, because that's your backing track and that's how you're going to perceive your melodies. Once you can do that, then you want to be able to play the melody over the chord progression. Make a backing track, play the melody over the chord progression, or I gave an example in this video where I'm playing the melody and the chords at the same time. And then you want to be able to improvise over the chord progression. Once you get to that point, you play the melody in your practice routines. There's this cycle that happens. You play the melody, then you improv over the form, the entire form, and then you improvise over the entire form. And then you play the melody over the entire form, and then you improvise over the entire form. If you do that cycle over and over, you will get used to the way the melody fits over the form, and your improvised melodies will begin to have a sense of purpose to them, because you'll be doing what's called phrasing, where the melody has a beginning, middle, and end. I am outlining chord tones over each, like C is outlining C, F is outlining F, and G is outlining G. That's very helpful stuff to make your melodies sound purposeful, but you don't have to know it. If you just get used to playing the melody over the form and then improvising over the form and being able to go between those two things without missing a beat over the backing track every time, then you will be able to solo. It's a process, but it takes a while to get used to, but it is a strategic way to practice improvisation that works. So the main thing is, can you play the chords well and consistently to make your backing track? Can you play the melody over those chords? That's the first two things you got to do. And then the improvising nature of your improvisations will sound more mature when you have those first two things down. Yes, you can noodle over the chord progression as much as you want and have fun with it, right? But if you really want your melodies to have a beginning, middle, and end, getting the chord progression down really well, and then improvising with playing with the melody, then improvising, playing the melody, then improvising between those two things without missing a beat will really help you mature your melodies. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is just show you what I perceive as the chord progression for this tune. And I'm going to kind of hum your melody as I'm doing it to stay in form, so that I'm following the melody as I perceive what you did. So it could be like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. So I'm back at the top. Da, da, da. Drunk people right there. Time through the form. All right, so that's me playing through the form as I see it, the chord progression as I hear it. That might be a little bit different than the way you hear it. I know the song's new to you, and there was a little bit of ambiguous things going on in your video, and I sealed those up and made them work for me. But yeah, you could maybe even use this portion of the video as a backing track to solo with. I would use this portion, if I were you, to learn to play the chord progression with clarity and confidence. Make sure you can play it the same way every single time. Create your own backing track and play to it. But this will serve as a backing track if you want to use it. All right, so the melody in the open position is C, A, G. And then with the F, it's the same. C, A, G, C, A, G, and then I'm going to improvise over the G, U. Okay, so kind of messy, but that's me playing the melody in the open position with just the 3 chords just to try to get a sense for the form and how things work. Now I'm going to go through and create a backing track that I can play melodies up here with. I'm going to use the same notes, just an octave higher. Okay, so the main goal here, 3 things. We're going to play the melody, we're going to outline the chord shapes that are in the melody, and then we're going to play the melody play our solo where every melody we make sounds like it has a beginning, middle, and end. So the first thing is we're going to outline the melody, which is A, 10, 8, just that one little drum people, crazy people, you know. And that little 3-note melody is something we'll reference quite a bit. We're going to use the E shape of C, the A shape of F, the E shape of C, and then the C shape of G as our chord outlines. And what you want to do is play the melody over the whole chord form, which the chord progression that outlines the song, play the melody over that, and then improvise over that, and then play the melody over that, and then improvise over that. If you do that circle of melody, then improvise, melody, then improvise, you will get a stronger sense of the actual phrasing that it takes. And what the phrasing is, it means that your melody has a beginning, middle, and end. And it sounds like it has purpose instead of just sort of noodling around everywhere and not really knowing where you're going, hoping to land something. That's where, knowing the chord shapes and landing on chord tones will help. But just the length of the melody, getting that correct is the main thing we're doing here. So melody, improvise, melody, improvise, melody, improvise. All right, let me do it and you'll see what I mean. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I did the melody, then I improvised the melody, then improvise. I'm going to do it one more time just so you can see what I'm doing. Melody, improvise, melody, improvise. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the melody. two little improvisations there through the form, which means the chord progression that the melody sits over. And that's getting familiar with your melody, being able to play it on the guitar in several places, and then creating your backing track and playing over that, getting used to the phrasing. If you can play the melody, you're getting the idea of the beginning, middle, and end and how that space works. So learn the melody, then improvise, and then play the melody, improvise, play the melody, improvise, and you'll get better at your phrasing. I'm really sloppy. I am not up to par with my skills, but that's okay. I'm not really that worried about that. I hope you find this helpful, man. I'll talk to you soon. See ya. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.